Good morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss about the overlaps, that is the sigma and the pi bond. When we talk about the overlapping, when we talk about the bond formation, we say that there are two different type of the bonds, that is the sigma bond as well as the pi bond. When we talk about the sigma and pi bond, we say that when the head to head overlap is taking place, that means the overlapping is in this way, head to head overlap. In that condition, the bonding will be called the sigma bond. But if the overlap is taking place sidewise in this way, then it will be called the pi bond. So there are two different type of the bonds, that is the sigma bond and the pi bond. The sigma bond is formed in the case when there is a head to head overlap, and in the case of the sidewise overlap, it will be the pi bonds. So we are going to discuss about the sigma and pi bond. We are taking some of the example of the sigma and pi bond. See here, in these of the conditions, the first one, that is the S subshell, is overlapping with the next S. And what type of bonding is here? It is the sigma bond. So the sigma bond formation is taking place because head to head overlap is taking place. Both have the same symbol. So this type of bond is called the sigma bond. The S subshell does not have any condition in which that forms the sidewise overlap. So this one have only the sigma bond formation capacity. The S subshell have only the sigma bond formation capacity. But when you will see the next one, what is the condition? The P subshell is undergoing to head overlap, and in this condition, plus plus minus, the sigma bond formation is taking place. So again, in this case, there is a sigma bond. When you will see the next condition, plus, plus, minus and minus, again this is a sigma bond. So all of these three conditions are the sigma bond. And in all of these three conditions, the head to head overlap is taking place. That means they are forming the sigma bond. But when you will see the fourth case, here you can see there is a sidewise overlap, but the same signs, that is the positive one is overlapping with the positive and negative one is overlapping with the negative. Then this condition, when the negative one is overlapping with the negative and positive one is overlapping with the positive, this condition is called the pi bonding. So there is a pi bond in the case of the last one. So the first three are the sigma bond and the last one is the pi bond. Some other conditions are also possible, and we are seeing those of the positions, those of the conditions where other conditions are appearing. So we are going to see some of the other condition where the bond formation or the overlapping condition is going to take place. See these are the conditions. When you will see these three conditions, we are going to discuss the first one. In this case, the sidewise overlap seems that it is a pi bond formation taking place, but actually no pi bond formation taking place, as this one is the negative end and this one is the positive, and the opposite signs are not going to show the complete overlap. This condition is considered as a zero overlap condition. That means there's no any overlap, there's no any bond formation is taking place, and this condition is also called zero overlap. Why? Where the overlapping is taking place, where the S subshell is going to overlap with the P subshell. In this condition, this is the node. Node means where the probability of finding the electron is 0. And if the probability of finding the electron is 0, then what's about the overlap? There will be no overlap in that condition. So this is the condition when there is a zero overlap, because it is overlapping at the nodal position. And what's about this one? They are not overlapping at all. So again, this is a zero overlap. So these are some of the conditions where it seems that there is a overlap, but actually there's no any overlap. Neither the sigma bond nor the pi bond formation is going to take place. So these are the conditions where a system is making the bond. Here are the conditions when the system is making sigma bond, the system is making pi bond. When you will consider the stability of the sigma and pi bond, surely the sigma bond is much more stable than the pi bond, because the head to head overlap provides the greater amount of the overlapping, and in the case of the pi bond, the sidewise overlap does not provide that much amount of the overlapping, and this is the reason why the sigma bond is more stable than the pi bonds. Now we are going to see some of the floral diagram, especially for the alkane, alkene and alkyne. Some of the floral diagram representing the formation of the sigma and pi bond, and we are going to start with the alkane, that is the ethane. That means C2H6. We are going to see the floral diagram of the C2H6 explaining the formation of the sigma and pi bond. Then here it is the ethane C2H6. See this compound. The carbon, two carbons are here. The first carbon is sp3 hybrid and the second carbon is again a sp3 hybrid, as 1, 2, 3, 4 bond pairs are there and there's no any lone pair. In the case of carbon, the lone pair conditions are not available. So there is a sp3 carbon. Both the carbons are sp3. Now I am showing the carbons electronic configuration, the valence shell electronic configuration, that is in the ground state. In the ground state, the electronic configuration is 2s2 2p2. Actually the overall electronic configuration is 1s2 2s2 2p2, but when you will see only the valence shell electronic configuration, it will be 2s2 and 2p2. This is the ground state. But actually when you will see the bond formation doesn't take place in the ground state. It is the excited state in which any of the compound undergo the chemical reaction. So the excited state is compulsory. And what happens in the excited state? The electron of the 2s, which is actually paired, that gets unpaired, and one of the electron from the 2s excites to the 2p. Now this one will be the condition of the excited state. This is the carbon's excited state. Now how many of the orbitals will be hybridized? This structure is suggesting that the carbon is sp3 hybridized. That means 1s will hybridize with the 3p. We are showing the hybrid orbitals. That means the hybridization is sp3. Now I am trying to show the structure of the system. With the sp3 hybridization, the system will show the tetrahedral shape. But I am showing here only the square planar. Okay. So this is the condition. This is the first orbital and this is the second lobe of the orbital. Because it is a hybrid orbital, one lobe will be the larger one and second one will be the smaller one, because the hybrid orbital is containing the greater content of the s character. Similarly the second one, third one and the fourth one. And similarly the next carbon is containing first orbital, second orbital, third orbital and the fourth one. And what's about the hydrogen? When you will see the hydrogen will make the bond with their unhybrid s subshell. And what will be the shape of the s subshell? That must be a spherical one. So this is the s subshell, hydrogen s subshell, again and again. What is the nature of the bond? This bond is showing the head-to-head overlap. So surely this is a sigma bond. This bond is again showing the head-to-head overlap. That means again a sigma bond, sigma bond, sigma bond, sigma bond and sigma bond. So all the bonds in the case is sigma bond, and this is the floral diagram for the ethane. Now we are seeing the next compound, that is an alkene. The compound is ethene here. So when you are going to see the ethene, what is the condition? See the compound. In this compound, when you will see the hybridization state of the carbon, it is sp2 hybrid. Both the carbons are the sp2 hybrid. And with this sp2 hybrid carbon, what will be the condition? First of all, we will see the ground state of the carbon. The ground state of the carbon will remain same, that is the 2s2 2p2. And when the excitation will take place, one of the electron from the 2s will move to the 2p. So the excitation of electron takes place and now it becomes 2s1 2p3. With this electronic configuration, when you will see what are the hybrid orbitals, the hybridization whatever we have find, that is the sp2. You can see here it is the sp2 hybrid. So we are taking 1s and 2p as a hybrid orbital, and one of the electron is in unhybrid orbital. That means one orbital remains unhybrid. In the previous case, no any orbital was unhybrid, but in this case one orbital is unhybrid. Then first of all we are showing for the hybrid orbitals. The sp2 hybridization means the trigonal planar. So we are going to draw a trigonal planar structure. This is the condition. The first one, second one, and third one on the angle of 120 from each. And same. This is the condition for both the carbons. And which of the atom will approach? It will be hydrogen. Surely again the hydrogen will approach with their s subshell. So this is the condition. All of these of the bonds which is made by the hybrid orbital is the sigma bond. Now it's the unhybrid orbital. Where the unhybrid orbital will survive? The unhybrid orbital survives perpendicular to the hybrid orbital. That means they are somewhere here in this way. And if they are surviving perpendicular to the system, it's not possible to draw in the third dimension. So I am drawing in the same dimension somewhere here. Like this. This is the unhybrid orbital. So both the lobes will be identical. And in this condition, the overlap will take place. This is the overlap. And what type of overlap is here? It is the sidewise overlap. So whatever the bond is going to form, that is a pi bond. And this is the floral diagram for the ethene, showing the formation of pi bond, showing the formation of sigma bond, showing the carbon-carbon sigma bond, showing the carbon-hydrogen sigma bond. Then this is the floral diagram which show the formation of the different type of the chemical bonds. So it's enough for this video. In the next video, we will see the molecular orbital theory and some of the molecular orbital diagram.